You didn't see it coming, or maybe you did and couldn't stop it. Either way, you woke up one day and everything that used to hold you together was gone. The thoughts felt heavier, the silence louder, and the person you once were felt distant, almost unrecognizable. And now, you're left asking, how do I rebuild when I don't even know what's left of me? Most people believe healing means putting the pieces back together. But what if the truth is, those pieces were never meant to last? In Buddhism, there is a quiet truth. What breaks was never your foundation. Yet people spend years rebuilding the same fragile identity. Look at your life closely. Are you truly healing, or just trying to feel normal again? In this video, you'll discover why your collapse was necessary and how silence, pain, and detachment can rebuild you into someone unshakable. Your doorway to calm, clarity, and timeless insight. Stay until the end, because there's one powerful lesson most people never understand, and once you see it, everything changes. Collapse reveals the illusion. Why did everything fall apart at once? Was it truly misfortune, or was something finally revealed? Sit with this gently. Most people say, I lost everything. But look closer. What if what collapsed was never real to begin with? What if the pain you feel is not only loss, but exposure? What shatters was never meant to hold you. And somewhere within you, a quiet voice already knows this truth. Imagine a painted wall. From a distance, it looks perfect, strong, untouched. But underneath, there are cracks. Time weakens it. Then one storm comes, and the color begins to wash away, not to destroy the wall, but to reveal its truth. Your identity can be like this, carefully built, shaped by approval, fear, expectation, and when life finally touches it deeply, it dissolves. Not because you are weak, but because it was never stable. So ask yourself quietly, what part of me collapsed, and why was it unstable? In moments like this, the mind resists. It wants to rebuild quickly, to return to what felt familiar. But this is where suffering deepens, because you are not meant to reconstruct the same illusion. You are being asked to see clearly, to sit in the discomfort without rushing, to observe without judgment. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine your identity as a mask, slowly dissolving in water. Watch it carefully. As it fades, what remains? This is where real transformation begins. Not in fixing, but in seeing. Not in escaping, but in understanding. Many live their whole lives maintaining an image, never questioning its truth. But you are stopped, forced to pause. And though it feels like breaking, it may be the first moment you are actually free. So reflect deeply. Was I living truth or maintaining an image? What am I afraid to see without distractions? Here is the turning point most never reach. The collapse is not your enemy, it is your teacher. It strips away what is false so that something real can finally emerge. If you try to rebuild too soon, you rebuild the prison. But if you stay, if you observe, something quieter, stronger, begins to form within you. Not loud, not desperate, just real. You were not shattered to be destroyed. You were shattered so the truth could finally breathe through you. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, I rebuild in silence. 2. Pain is raw energy. You decide its form. Why do two people walk through the same fire, yet one emerges refined and the other reduced to ashes? Sit with this honestly. The pain you feel right now, it is not your enemy. It is raw, unshaped energy, and the truth is quiet but piercing. Pain is not suffering. Your reaction is. Somewhere within you, a choice is being made every moment, consciously or unconsciously. Pain is a tool. Only the unconscious turn it into a weapon against themselves. So ask yourself gently, am I using this pain, or is it using me? Feel into your chest for a moment. There is heat there, tension, pressure, something alive. Most people run from it. They distract, numb, or suppress. But avoidance does not dissolve pain, it distorts it, and distorted pain begins to control you. It leaks into your words, your decisions, your relationships. This is how suffering grows silently, not because pain exists, but because it is left unobserved, unmanaged. So pause here. What happens when you stop resisting it? Imagine this pain as fire, uncontrolled. It burns everything. Your peace, your clarity, your direction. But contained, it becomes something else entirely. It becomes power. The same fire that destroys can also forge. Close your eyes and see it clearly, this heat within you. Instead of pushing it away, imagine shaping it, giving it direction. Let it become something sharp, focused, and steady. Not chaotic, but intentional. This is the shift few understand. You are not meant to escape pain, you are meant to transform it. To sit with it long enough until it reveals its hidden strength. Because inside every discomfort, there is a message, a lesson, a force waiting to be refined. But it only reveals itself to those who stay present. So, reflect deeply. What strength is hidden inside this discomfort? If this pain had a purpose, what would it be asking of me right now? Here is the turning point. The moment you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and begin asking, "What can I create from this?" that is where power returns to your hands. Not through control of the world, but through mastery of your inner response. Pain placed in unconscious hands becomes destruction, but in aware hands it becomes transformation. 3. Silence is where power returns. Why does explaining yourself leave you feeling weaker, not stronger? Notice it carefully. Each time you defend your story, justify your pain, or try to be understood, something within you drains. Not because your truth is wrong, but because your energy is flowing outward, seeking permission to exist. And the more you speak from this place, the more scattered you become. Silence is not absence, it is stored strength. So pause and ask yourself, where am I leaking my energy in the name of being understood? There comes a moment after emotional collapse where words lose their power. You repeat your story, hoping someone will finally see you, but instead you feel emptier. This is the subtle trap. You believe expression will heal you, but constant explanation can keep you tied to the wound. It keeps reopening what is trying to close. So, reflect honestly. What would happen if I stopped explaining completely? Imagine a vessel with small cracks. No matter how much you pour into it, it never fills. This is what happens when your attention is scattered, when your mind keeps returning to others' opinions, their judgments, their misunderstandings. Your energy cannot gather, it cannot stabilize. Silence seals these cracks. Not forced silence, but conscious withdrawal. A decision to stop offering your inner world to those who cannot hold it. Close your eyes and see your energy as light. It has been spread across conversations, memories, regrets, expectations. Now gently call it back. From every person you tried to convince, from every moment you replayed, watch it return, slowly, quietly, gathering within your chest. There is no rush here, just presence, just reclaiming. This is where power begins to return, not through control, but through containment. When you stop reacting, you stop leaking. When you stop explaining, you start listening to something deeper than noise. And in that stillness, clarity begins to form. Not loud, not urgent, just certain. But this path requires courage, because silence removes validation. It removes the comfort of being seen. And what remains is you alone with your truth. So ask yourself, can I sit in silence without needing validation? The one who learns to be still in a world that demands reaction becomes unshakable without ever raising their voice. 4. Let your old identity die. Why does letting go of who you were feel like losing yourself? Sit with that question without rushing to answer. Because what you are feeling is not just change, it is the fear of becoming empty. The mind would rather hold on to familiar suffering than step into the unknown. This is how the old identity survives. Not through truth, but through attachment. You cannot become new while protecting the old. So ask yourself quietly, what part of me am I still protecting, even though it no longer feels alive? There is a silent resistance within you. It whispers, if I let this go, who will I be? And so you cling to roles, to labels, to versions of yourself that once felt safe. The one who was always strong, the one who was needed, the one who was admired. But look closely. Are these still true? Or are they memories you are afraid to outgrow? Because holding on to an expired identity is like trying to breathe in a space that no longer has air. It suffocates slowly. So reflect honestly. Who am I without my past roles and labels? A snake cannot grow without shedding its skin. But in that moment of shedding, it is exposed, vulnerable, undefined. There is no protection, only transition. This is where most people retreat. They rush to rebuild, to define themselves again, to escape the discomfort of not knowing. But real transformation asks something deeper. It asks you to stand still, even when you feel undefined. To not replace the old too quickly, but to let it fully fall away. Close your eyes and see your past self as a layer, slowly peeling away. Not violently, but naturally. Let it fall without resistance. Notice the discomfort, the rawness of standing without identity. This is the space the ego fears the most. But it is also the only place where something real can begin. So stay here for a moment, without naming, without labeling, just being. This is the turning point few are willing to face. You must be willing to be nobody for a while, not broken, not lost, just unformed. Because in this emptiness, there is no pressure to perform, no need to prove, only space. And from this space, a new self begins to emerge, not constructed, but discovered. So ask yourself with complete honesty, what identity am I clinging to out of fear? Am I ready to release it, even if I don't know what comes next? You are not losing yourself. You are losing what was never truly you. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, I rebuild, in silence. 5. Detachment is emotional mastery. Why do people and outcomes control your emotions so easily? Look closely. It is not because they are powerful. It is because somewhere within you, you have handed them the authority to decide how you feel. This is the quiet nature of attachment. It does not look like dependence at first. It feels like care, like love, like importance. But beneath it, there is a need, a subtle grip. Attachment is silent dependence, disguised as love. So pause and ask yourself, what am I emotionally dependent on right now? Notice how your mood shifts with their words, their actions, their absence. When they move closer, you feel relief. When they pull away, you feel loss. This is not peace. It is emotional negotiation. Your inner state becomes a reflection of something outside your control. And slowly, without realizing it, you begin to chase, not them, but the feeling they give you. This is where suffering takes root. So, reflect gently. Can I care without needing control? Imagine holding sand in your hand. If you grip it tightly, it slips faster, leaving you with less than before. But if you open your palm, it rests naturally, without force, without fear. This is the difference between attachment and detachment. Detachment is not coldness. It is not indifference. It is the ability to hold something with care without trying to possess it, to allow it to exist without making it the source of your stability. Close your eyes and picture the person, the outcome, the situation you cling to. Feel the tension it creates within you, the quiet anxiety, the need to hold on. Now slowly open your hand, not to push it away, but to release the grip. Let it exist freely. Notice what happens inside you. There may be fear at first, but beneath it, there is space, and in that space, there is calm. This is where mastery begins, not by controlling the world, but by stabilizing your response to it. When you no longer depend on external outcomes for internal peace, something shifts. You stop chasing, you stop reacting, you start choosing. So ask yourself honestly, what would freedom feel like in this situation if I stopped needing it to go my way? The moment you release your grip is the moment you regain yourself. 6. Discipline rebuilds what motivation cannot. Why do you promise change in moments of pain, but return to old habits the moment comfort returns? Notice this pattern without judgment. In suffering, you feel urgency. You say, "This time, I will change," but when the storm settles, that fire fades. Not because you are weak, but because motivation is unstable. It rises and falls with emotion. Your future is built in the moments you don't feel like trying. So ask yourself quietly, am I waiting to feel ready, or am I willing to act without it? There is a quiet misunderstanding that keeps you stuck. You believe transformation requires strong emotion, but real change is not emotional. It is structural. It is built through repetition, not intensity. A temple is not created in a single moment of inspiration. It is built through the silent placement of one stone, then another, then another. No applause, no urgency, just steady effort. So, reflect honestly. What small action can I commit to every day, no matter how I feel? After emotional collapse, the mind searches for something big, something dramatic to fix everything at once. But this is another illusion. The truth is quieter. You do not rebuild your life through grand decisions. You rebuild it through small, consistent actions, waking up at the same time, sitting in stillness for a few minutes, choosing not to react when triggered. These are not impressive, but they are powerful because they create stability where there was once chaos. Close your eyes and see yourself repeating one small habit. Not perfectly, but consistently, day after day. Even when you feel tired, even when nothing seems to change, feel the quiet strength growing within you. Not loud, not visible, but real. This is discipline. It does not demand attention, but it builds resilience from within. Here is the shift. Stop asking, "Do I feel like doing this?" and start asking, "Is this aligned with who I am becoming?" That question removes emotion from the decision. It brings clarity, it brings direction, and slowly your actions begin to shape a new identity, not based on mood, but on intention. So, ask yourself with honesty, what would discipline look like in my life right now if I stopped negotiating with my feelings? Motivation begins the journey, but discipline is what carries you home. 7. Burn the need for validation. Why does someone else's opinion still disturb your peace? Sit with that without defending yourself, because beneath the reaction there is a quiet habit. You are still asking permission to exist, to speak, to choose, to live. And when that permission is not given, something inside you contracts. This is the invisible cage of approval. The moment you stop seeking approval, you reclaim your life. So, ask yourself honestly, whose approval am I still chasing? There is a subtle exhaustion in trying to be seen the right way. You adjust your words, you filter your truth, you become careful, measured, acceptable. But each adjustment costs you something real. Piece by piece, you trade authenticity for acceptance. And slowly, You forget what your unfiltered self even feels like. This is not freedom. It is quiet self-abandonment. So reflect gently. What would I do if no one was watching? Imagine a bird raised in a cage. The door opens, but it hesitates. Not because the sky is dangerous, but because it is unfamiliar. Freedom feels uncertain. And so it stays close to what it knows, even if it is limiting. In the same way, you may still hold on to approval because it feels safe, predictable. But safety built on others' opinions is fragile. It can disappear at any moment, and when it does, you feel lost again. Close your eyes and picture invisible chains tied to different people. Their expectations, their judgments, their silent approvals, feel their weight. Now, gently begin to release them. Not with anger, but with understanding. They were never meant to define you. As each chain falls away, notice the space that opens around you. It may feel empty at first, but within that silence, there is something powerful, your own voice, no longer interrupted. This is the turning point when you stop performing and start living, when you no longer shape yourself to be understood, but instead stand in your truth, even if it is misunderstood. Because being misunderstood is not a failure. It is the cost of authenticity. So ask yourself with clarity, can I accept being misunderstood if it means finally being real? Approval may feel like comfort, but it is a cage, and the moment you no longer need it, the door was never locked. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, I rebuild in silence. 8. Turn isolation into transformation. Why does being alone feel painful instead of powerful? Sit with that without escaping. Because when the noise fades, you are left with yourself. And if you have never learned to meet yourself fully, that silence can feel heavy, not peaceful, but exposing. So you reach for distractions, your phone, conversations, constant activity, not because you enjoy them, but because they help you avoid what is waiting within. So ask yourself honestly, am I avoiding myself through distractions? There is a misunderstanding about isolation. You see it as something negative, something to escape. But what if it is not punishment, but preparation? Isolation is not punishment, it is preparation. It removes the outside noise, so you can finally hear what has been hidden, your thoughts, your fears, your truth, without interruption. And yes, at first it feels uncomfortable because you are no longer distracted from your own reality. Imagine a diamond forming deep inside the earth. It is not made in light, in comfort, or in attention. It is shaped under pressure, in darkness, unseen. In the same way, your solitude is not empty. It is shaping you. Every moment you sit without escaping, something inside you sharpens. Your awareness grows deeper, your dependence becomes weaker, and slowly, the loneliness you once feared starts to change its form. Close your eyes and sit in silence, not as an escape, but as a return. Feel yourself becoming clearer, more focused, not through effort, but through presence. The noise around you starts to lose its importance. And in its place, a quiet strength begins to form. Not loud, not dramatic, just steady. This is the strength that does not depend on anyone else. This is where the change happens. When being alone no longer feels like emptiness, but like space. Space to understand yourself. Space to rebuild without pressure. Space to exist without pretending. And from this space, something real begins to grow. Not shaped by others, but found within. So reflect deeply. What can solitude teach me about who I am without influence? Can I find peace without outside noise? The one who learns to sit alone without escaping. No longer fears losing anyone because they have finally found themselves. 9. Control your mind or be controlled. Why do your thoughts feel like they control you? Sit with this without trying to escape it, because somewhere along the way, you stopped questioning them. Every fear, every doubt, every harsh inner voice, you accepted it as truth. And when a thought is believed without awareness, it becomes your reality. The mind is a tool until you forget you are holding it. So ask yourself quietly, which thoughts keep repeating in my mind? Notice how your inner dialogue shapes your state. One thought says, I am not enough, and your energy drops. Another says, nothing will change, and your body follows that direction. These are not commands, but you treat them that way. This is how the mind gains control, not through force, but through your unconscious agreement. So reflect honestly. Are these thoughts true or just familiar? An untrained horse runs wild. It reacts to every sound, every movement, pulling you in directions you never planned to go. This is what your mind becomes without awareness. Restless, reactive, untamed. But the same horse, when trained with patience, becomes powerful. It carries you forward with strength and precision. The mind is no different. It does not need to be silenced. It needs to be guided. Close your eyes for a moment and watch your thoughts as they appear. Do not fight them. Do not follow them. Just observe. Like clouds passing through the sky, some heavy, some light, but none permanent. Notice how they come and go, and as you watch, something subtle becomes clear. You are not the thought. You are the one noticing it. This is the turning point most people miss. The moment you separate yourself from your thoughts, their power starts to fade. They no longer define you. They no longer control your direction. Instead of reacting, you begin to choose. And in that choice, your life starts to change. Not externally at first, but internally, where it matters most. But this requires discipline and awareness, not once, but again and again. Each time a thought appears, you ask, is this useful? Is this real? Does this support the person I am becoming? And if not, you let it pass without attachment. Not suppression, but detachment. So, ask yourself deeply, who is observing these thoughts right now? The one who learns to master their mind is no longer trapped by it. 10. Growth feels like losing everything. Why does growth feel like loss instead of gain? Sit with this without trying to fix it. Because what you are experiencing is not failure, it is transition. You are not only adding something new, you are leaving something behind. And what you leave behind once defined you. Your routines, your relationships, your identity, they gave you a sense of self. So, when they begin to fall away, it feels like something is being taken from you. But look deeper. What am I outgrowing right now? There is a quiet sadness in becoming someone new. Not because the future is uncertain, but because the past was familiar. Even if it was painful, it was known. And the mind holds on to what it knows. It says, stay here. At least this is predictable. But growth does not ask for comfort. It asks for courage. It asks you to move forward without holding on to what can no longer grow with you. So, reflect honestly. Am I resisting necessary change, simply because it feels like loss? A tree sheds its leaves not because it is dying, but because it is preparing for renewal. From the outside, it looks empty, bare, even lifeless. But beneath the surface, something is changing. Energy is being redirected, strength is being preserved, and in time, new life begins to form. You are no different. What is falling away from your life is not proof of collapse. It is preparation for expansion. Close your eyes and see it clearly. Parts of your life slowly loosening their grip. Old habits, old connections, old versions of yourself. Let them fall without resistance. Not everything that leaves is meant to stay, and not everything that feels empty is meant to remain empty. There is purpose in this space, even if you cannot see it yet. This is the turning point. When you stop measuring growth by what you gain and start understanding it through what you release, because holding on to everything is not strength, it is fear. Real strength is the ability to let go without knowing exactly what will come next. So ask yourself, with quiet honesty, can I trust the process of letting go, even when it feels like I am losing everything? You are not losing your life. You are shedding what no longer belongs in it. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "I rebuild" in silence. 11. Rebuild quietly. Let results speak. Why do you feel the urge to announce your growth before it has even taken root? Sit with that honestly. Because beneath that urge, there is a quiet desire to be seen, to be validated, to be recognized for becoming someone new. But when you speak too soon, you release the very energy needed to transform. The ego wants recognition before results. It wants the reward without the depth. True power moves in silence, so ask yourself gently, why do I feel the need to prove my growth? There is a difference between becoming and pretending to become. One is real, the other is fragile. When you share your intentions too early, your mind begins to feel as if the work is already done. You receive small approval, small praise, and it tricks you into stopping. This is how growth slows down, not because you cannot change, but because you satisfied the need to be seen too early. So reflect quietly. Can I grow without outside validation? Think of a seed placed deep in the soil. It does not announce its growth. It does not push through the surface immediately asking for attention. It stays hidden, in darkness, in silence. And in that unseen space, it builds strength. Roots spread quietly, grounding it deeper into the earth. By the time it breaks through the surface, its foundation is already strong. This is how real transformation happens, unseen, unheard, yet unstoppable. Close your eyes and imagine yourself growing in silence. No explanations, no updates, no need to prove anything to anyone, just steady action, day after day. Feel the calm confidence that comes with this, not loud, not performative, just steady. You are no longer chasing recognition, you are building something that speaks for itself. This is the turning point, when your focus shifts from being noticed to becoming undeniable. Because when your growth is real, it does not need to be announced. It reveals itself through your presence, your choices, your energy. People feel it without you saying a word. But this path requires discipline of the ego. It asks you to resist the urge to explain, to show, to seek approval. It asks you to trust your process enough to protect it, to let it fully grow before exposing it to the world. So ask yourself with clarity, what would silent confidence feel like if I no longer needed anyone to notice my progress? Grow in silence and let your results become your voice. Bonus: the world reflects your inner state. Why does life begin to feel different even when nothing outside has changed? Sit with that quietly. The same streets, the same people, the same routines, and yet something feels lighter or heavier. This is not coincidence, it is reflection. What you experience outside is often shaped by what you carry inside. When you change within, the world responds naturally. So ask yourself honestly, what is my life currently reflecting back to me? There is a subtle truth most people miss. You do not see the world as it is, you see it as you are. When your mind is restless, everything feels chaotic. When your heart is heavy, even simple moments feel difficult. And when there is calm within you, the same world begins to feel softer, more open. This is not the world changing, it is your perception reshaping your experience. Yet many people spend their lives trying to fix the outside without ever questioning the inside. So reflect gently, am I trying to change the mirror or myself? Imagine standing in front of a mirror, unhappy with what you see. No matter how much you argue with the reflection, it will not change. The mirror does not respond to force, it responds to what stands before it. Life works the same way. Your relationships, your reactions, your environment, they reflect your inner state, not perfectly, but clearly enough to reveal patterns. And these patterns are not there to punish you, they are there to show you what remains unseen within. Close your eyes and see the world around you as a reflection. Every frustration, every joy, every repeated experience like signs pointing inward. Now gently shift your focus within. Notice your thoughts, your emotional state, the energy you carry. Without forcing anything, allow it to soften, to settle, to become clearer. And as this inner shift happens, imagine the reflection slowly changing, not because you demanded it, but because you became different. This is the turning point, when you stop fighting the world and start understanding yourself. When you realize that control is not found in changing everything around you, but in transforming what is within you, because once that changes, your experience follows naturally. So ask yourself with complete honesty, what inner change would alter the reflection I see every day? The world has always been a mirror, and the moment you change your face, the reflection can no longer stay the same. Quick summary of principles. Collapse reveals the illusion. What broke was not your true self, but the identity built on fear, validation, and illusion. Emotional collapse is exposure, not destruction. You were holding together something that was never stable. Clarity begins the moment you stop trying to fix what was never real. Pain becomes power. Pain is not your enemy. It is unshaped energy waiting for direction. Without awareness, it turns into suffering. With discipline, it becomes strength. Your reaction shapes your outcome. The same pain that breaks you can also rebuild you. Silence reclaims power. Every reaction drains your energy. Every explanation weakens your center. Silence pulls your scattered energy back within. When you stop seeking validation, you regain control. Power grows where noise ends. Let your old identity die. Transformation requires the death of who you used to be. Holding on to your past blocks your future. The discomfort you feel is not loss, it is transition. You cannot evolve while protecting your old self. Detachment is mastery. Attachment creates emotional dependence and inner instability. Detachment is not indifference. It is control over your reactions. When nothing controls your peace, you become unshakable. Freedom begins where attachment ends. Discipline over motivation. Motivation is temporary, but discipline creates permanence. Growth is built in moments when you don't feel like continuing. Consistency shapes identity. Your future is hidden inside your daily actions. Release the need for approval. Seeking validation makes you a prisoner of others' opinions. True freedom begins when you stop asking for permission to exist. You don't need to be understood to be at peace. Self-approval is the highest form of power. Isolation creates strength. Solitude is where clarity and self-awareness are born. Running from silence keeps you disconnected from yourself. Growth happens when you face your inner world without distraction. Strength develops in stillness. Master your mind. Your thoughts are not facts. They are patterns you've accepted. Without awareness, they control you. When you observe instead of react, you take back control. Mastery begins when you question your own mind. Growth feels like loss. Transformation requires leaving behind what once felt familiar. What feels like loss is often necessary growth. You are not losing your life. You are outgrowing it. Expansion always requires release. Rebuild in silence. Real growth does not need an audience. Announcing your progress weakens its foundation. Quiet work creates real results. Let your transformation speak through your life, not your words. The world reflects you. Your external reality mirrors your internal state. Change within and the outside shifts naturally. Stop forcing outcomes. Focus on alignment. Life responds to who you become, not what you chase. Your collapse was not the end of you. It was the moment truth entered your life without permission. In Buddhism, there is a deep understanding. Suffering begins when we resist what is and ends when we see clearly. You were never broken, only disconnected. And now, life has given you the rarest opportunity to rebuild without illusion, without dependency, without fear. Zen teaches, let go or be dragged. So don't rebuild the same identity that once collapsed. Rebuild with awareness, rebuild with discipline, rebuild in silence. And ask yourself quietly tonight, if nothing external could define me anymore, who would I choose to become? If this spoke to you, take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments for more powerful Buddhist insights on living a peaceful, awakened life.